My dear Belle, you're so ahead of your time. This is a small village.
You are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Nobody deserves you.
And it's small-minded as well. But small also means safe.
I've come for my father.
He's a thief.
Come into the light. I will escape, I promise.
Look, a girl.
Who said that?
Hello.
You can talk.
Well, of course. It's all he ever does.
How lovely to make your acquaintance.
Want to see me do a trick? What happens when the last petal falls?
The master remains a beast forever.
And we become antiques. What did you do to it?
Nothing.
Get out of here! Go!
You have to help me. You have to stand.
If she is the one who'll break the spell, you must finally learn to love.
Have you really read every one of these books?
Some of them are in Greek.
True as it can be.
Early evening comes, there's somebody else, unexpectedly. Certain as a sun,
Rising in the east.
tell us all the time.
Get out of me!
Tell us all the time. Beauty and the Beast.
Guys, Luke Evans right here. The man is in one of the most anticipated films of the year, if not a couple years, since it was announced that they were
The century.
The century. Well, clearly not a humble man, but yes, absolutely.
Beauty and the Beast. We love it.
Let's talk about how you got involved. I mean, Bill Condon is directing this. He's one of the best that we have. I love his work. Was it working with him, or was it being a part of the fairy tale?
Both. I mean, they are. Bill is an incredible director. His work is brilliant, you know, and that was a big draw. And I've been looking for the right project that he's been attached to get seen by him, you know. And then this came up, and I was like, well, I can sing. I've done musical theater. I did that for 9 years of my career, and now this is my moment to go and sing for Bill.
You did musical theater for nine years of your career?
Yep.
That's unbelievable, because I feel like...
I don't look old enough, do I? Right, yeah.
No, sure. But I feel like you, I mean, you've sort of moved very well into action roles a little bit, and sort of and thrillers. Have you missed doing musical theater?
No, not until I did this. And then I was like, oh God, it's so much fun singing, you know? So, but no, I mean, I did 9 years of it, and did some of the big shows. I played Roger in Rent, and Chris in Miss Saigon. I was in Avenue Q, you know, the puppet show. And yeah, I did some big shows. And then I did a play at the Donmar, which is a very small little theater in London, but very good. And it was something I wasn't singing in or doing any dancing or anything. And that sort of changed my whole career. And then I got seen by a casting director. This was like 9 years ago, nearly 10 years ago. And then I got Clash of the Titans, and then that's how it began. It wasn't really a plan. It was just the way it worked out. But
Were you a musical theater kid, or did you fall into musical theater?
Complete musical theater kid, yeah.
So are you the
I was
type-
Phantom of the Opera every Saturday.
Are you
used
the
to wear
type
the
of-
white mask and, you know, push myself across the carpet every pretending I was in a boat. Yeah.
So are you the type of musical theater kid who can sort of rein it in when you're just sort of in daily social interactions, or are you a musical theater kid who walks into social situations like, hello?
No, that's Josh Gad.
That is true. That is true.
If you've met Josh Gad, you'll know he can fill a room with his energy. He's amazing. No, I'm not. I'm quite shy actually in normal life. Very quiet.
So you get cast in Beauty and the Beast, and now most of your stuff in the film isn't sort of CGI heavy, right?
No, I mean, a lot of people keep asking me, how was it to work with all these different characters? Well, until we get to the Enchanted Castle, which is almost the final act of the movie for my character, everything I work with is real. So, Josh and Emma and Maurice, who's just there, and Kevin Kline. And, it was only when we got to the castle and then I worked with Dan in his, onesie.
Is that what he was wearing? He had those green
onesie
screen
with dots
onesies?
on his face and his body, looking like he's got some sort of strange disease.
Is that the first time you met him? He's like, hey, I'm Dan.
No. No, we've known each other for a long time. So, but yeah, that's the first time I actually got then to interact with, there was a hat stand that punches me in the face, and a table that stands up and squashes LeFou, and all these different little tricks that we see, but we didn't see any of that until right to the end of filming. So.
And that's not the first time you've really worked with someone doing green screen. I mean, Clash of the Titans as well as the Hobbit films, right?
I mean, the Hobbit. I mean, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, the Hobbit was probably my biggest amount of CGI, and working with, small people and giant people, and none of them were in the room with me at the same time, So this is a walk in the park, or a forest, or a enchanted forest, compared to what I did on the Hobbit. I mean, that was crazy stuff.
Now, you play, for all intents and purposes, the villain of Beauty and the Beast. Would you agree with that Gaston is a villain?
Oh yeah. He's he doesn't start off as a villain. He's a big fish in a small pond. Villeneuve is this little village, we all know of it. It's a little provincial town, but he's the big cheese, everybody loves him.
The fairy tale personification
he's the star.
of white
the second
male
he leaves
entitlement.
Villeneuve, he's nobody, and so he's never going to leave this town, and he loves it, and he's got a little sidekick that tells him everything he wants to hear, and it works for him, but he wants one thing that he's never going to get. He gets everything else in life, but the one thing he really wants is Belle, and she's way too clever for him. She wants way bigger things, and so he gets told no for the first time in his life, and that's when you start to see the cracks appear. And that's why, for me, it was the brilliant role, because you see the full spectrum of a personality. You see this guy who's just completely absorbed in his own image, and can have what he wants, and then the second he's told no, you start to see this. There's a darkness inside of him, and that was really fun to play.
Do you think that darkness comes from the fact that he hasn't been told no his whole life?
Totally. Yeah, he's a hot-headed idiot of a human being who he's self-absorbed. He's obsessed with this persona that he's created in this village, and he thinks that she will change her mind. That's the funniest part of the whole thing. Is like, she's just playing me along for a while, And when he finally realizes it's jealousy, it comes from somewhere deep inside, and he then turns into a very revenge-driven human being, and will do anything to ruin everybody's lives, not just Belle's, but kill the beast. He's got his own song. He wrote a song about it.
One of the things about the film that I think audiences were so excited about is that Emma Watson, for the past few years, since she's been someone with a lot of celebrity, for lack of a better word, has used her voice for lots of women's issues and feminist issues. And she said that this film as well also in many ways touches on some of those issues, or at least tries to sort of maintain those issues from the animated film into this one. Were there any conversations about your character and what he represents and how he embodies a kind of white entitlement or male privilege?
He's a total Trump supporter, isn't he? I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah.
Your words, not mine, but let's stick with it.
No, there wasn't. I mean, what's great about Emma is, she's incredibly a well-read human being, and she's used her profile and her image throughout the world to, represent women's rights and equality for women, and she's fought for it on a very, very public platform. And I think she was probably drawn to Belle because one of the first Disney animations where the woman saves the man. she saves the prince, not the prince saving the woman. It's not Sleeping Beauty. And I think that's great. And it's sort of a strong female character. She doesn't settle for anything other than what she wants. She wants to read more books. She wants to see the world. She loves her home, but she knows there's a bigger world that she's entitled to take hold of. And Emma's the perfect person to play that role because Emma's a forward-thinking, strong human being. And so I think she was the perfect casting for Belle.
And did you relish kind of playing Gaston and his villainy? Is it fun?
Yeah. If I say no, it's wrong. If I say yes, you think, oh God, is he really? Maybe
No,
he is.
not at all. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to sink your teeth into stuff like
he's
that.
brilliant. I mean, he's brilliant. Who doesn't want to
Look at the face you're making in the poster.
I mean, I got to raise my eyebrow every day I come to set. You
That's
know?
the literal definition of a shit-eating grin, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's a shit-eating. LeFou. No, I mean it was brilliant fun. It was it was a well-written script. Also, you know, they pulled a lot of the wonderful moments from the animation that we could all probably recite certain moments from the film, and we brought them into the film. You know, the one looking in the mirror, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You know, it directly from the animation, and I got to play on those. And I think coming from theatre and not doing theatre for 10 years, I was told you can use your theatricality in this character. He's larger than life. He's, he plays to the gods every day. And I was like, all right, I can do that. I can totally do that. I know exactly how to play to the gods. So the whole experience was just brilliant, and I got to sing and dance and be surrounded by an amazing cast. We had an amazing ensemble group of villagers. That basically, a lot of them were, 3 of them I'd worked with when I was in musical theatre 10 years ago. No, 20 years ago, my first sort of show. And 2 of them were actually villagers in Villeneuve. So I actually got to sing the Gaston number with people I remembered from my musical theatre days. So, it was a lovely moment to merge this whole experience with most of my professional life.
What have the last 10, 12 years or so been like for you, where you've kind of gotten out of theater and fallen into this sort of action role, or a few action movies, and then in the last few years, you've done Highrise, which is a completely different kind of movie. It seems like you yourself are now trying to change the trajectory a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's going up, not going down, I'm happy.
As long as people want to work with me, okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm a nice person. People like working with me. That's what they tell me anyway, right? But no, I mean, the good thing about doing indies and mixing it up with big films, although this was a very collaborative experience, for a studio film of this size and magnitude, I had a voice, and I had a creative voice. And when I spoke to Bill about ideas, and me and Josh, I mean, we could have... if you didn't rein us in, we could have created in 20 more minutes of the film just our story. We're waiting for an offshoot show for Gaston and LeFou anyway. But it was very collaborative, and when you do independent films like Highrise, and I've done 4 independents, I've got like 4 films coming out, which are all indies of different sizes. But you sometimes it's a smaller group of people. You have ability to tell a story that often wouldn't have been financed by a studio because it's not a massively commercial storyline.
Yeah, Highrise is just a wild movie. There's no way that would
Highrise, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've just played this guy called Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman, and this is a guy who, you won't know this, but he invented the lie detector test in the 30s, and then he went on and invented Wonder Woman. The same man invented the lie detector and Wonder Woman. And I got to play him. I got to play this real life guy from the 30s, and it was amazing. It was wonderful. It was hardcore, and it was really, really cerebral and long scenes. But put that next to Gaston, you wouldn't. That's as fun as it is for anybody. It's like it keeps it interesting and diversifying what you do and challenging yourself as an actor. I mean, that's the only reason I'm doing this, is because it is such a. If you make it, it can be a very enjoyable, diverse industry. It's not always about riding a tank and shooting people or blowing things up, or sometimes
That stuff is fun too sometimes.
it is very fun. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of fun with.
Is the most fun about doing movies like that the training beforehand?
I mean, that's another great part of the job. Is I can go on and train for a film and completely transform my physique, and they pay for it. It's brilliant,
It is something that I've always been jealous about when it comes to actors. And it's like, sure, I'm going to do that. Give me 3 months and pay me to work out.
Sometimes they don't give you 3 months, though. Then it becomes very miserable. They come in and my trainer takes all the food out of my cupboards and my fridge and leaves like a juice, boiled eggs and some salmon or something. And 3 weeks in, and all you're eating is eggs and fish and a couple of protein shakes. So it's a lot of commitment, but it's good to put yourself through that discipline, and it's good mentally. If you're not even an actor, sometimes it's nice to push yourself to the limit, and also then learn how to do amazing things. Like when I was on The Hobbit, I learned how to shoot bow and arrow and a 2-meter longbow, and all those incredible horse riding, and I got to ride a horse in this film. Josh, if you ever meet Josh, or you have to ask him about his horse, because it basically, everything he wanted it to do, it did the opposite. So it was literally, I used to have to kick the back of his horse just to make it go forward, because he just didn't have any control over it. It's like it was quite fun to watch, actually.
You mentioned how big the production was here. Were you and Josh, who were sort of working with the villagers for the most part, and your stuff wasn't very CGI heavy, did you have the sort of most massive part of the production, and then when you get to the castle, all of that was a bit more CGI and based in the studio?
No, I mean the castle was built. It was very special, actually. I remember walking in for the first day and seeing the entrance hall and the staircase, which you actually see in the trailer, right? You see from the top of the staircase, all that was there. This enormous staircase, and where the beast's lair, and the room where the glass dome is, where all that was real. And outside of that window, I mean, we used all of the stages in Shepperton Studios, and these are huge stages. And out of that window, you saw the rooftops of the castle, the enchanted castle. It was all there. I mean, sometimes CGI, you think, oh God, well, they're just going to put everything in for that's not real, but that's not true. They built an awful lot of real, tangible, rooftops and rooms and buildings and chandeliers and all that stuff. And then basically, you can just increase the depth of a scene. And that's the room I'm talking about. That is a real room, and through the back of it was a rooftop, and then a turret and a bridge over the top, and it was all so we could shoot it all in one. It wasn't always about using your imagination. They gave us an awful lot to work with. So.
Does that blow your mind when you get to a studio and all of this is built out, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a part of this. This is crazy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think the biggest moment for me was standing looking at a dragon, which they hadn't even designed, and then seeing the final cut of the film, and there's a giant dragon flying towards me. That was. I was like, I hope I gave it enough. Like, I hope my look was enough for what I'm actually was looking at in the film, because I didn't see it. Nobody knew what it looked like when we shot it. I was looking at a green ball, on a fishing wire.
Do you have like a reserved dragon look now that you've held on to?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I've been giving it to you the whole way through.
I thought so. I thought this whole time I was like, I think he thinks I'm a dragon, but I'm not sure if that.
Maybe a little dragon.
Let's open it up to the audience for questions. Who has questions out here? You have a microphone, so I think you have a question.
Hi. I'm a big fan. Did playing Gaston require a lot of dancing? And if so, do you have any previous dance experience that helped you?
Well, I trained in a theatre college, so whether I liked it or not, I had to learn how to dance. And there were certain styles of dancing I was better at than others. Ballet, I was a disaster. I like contemporary, and I liked, dance that creates a story. So, you can dance in character. And so, in this film, we had an incredible choreographer who I'd actually worked with when I was in college 20 years ago. Anthony Van Last, who's a very famous choreographer. He's done incredible work on stage and on film. And I think he sort of breathed a sigh of relief because he thought, oh, there's going to be a film actor's never stepped foot on a dance floor or anything. And I was like, no, we can do that. How about let's add this? Let's do a turn there. Let's leap over this table and let's swing from the chandelier. Let's drink this glass of beer as I stab somebody behind me, all these different things. And so it was, again, very collaborative and really, really fun. So I loved it. But I would never call myself a dancer until Michael Jackson comes on. And then I'm like, I'm amazing then. Not.
Next question.
We're going to take our next question from an online viewer. So Jennifer would like to know, how much of the original animation did you use to craft your character and mannerisms?
Hi, Jennifer. I used a lot of the animation. I hadn't seen the animation for a long time, and sort of what made me more excited about playing him or being even seen for him in the audition process with Bill was sitting with my godchildren who were very young, so they live in a Disney world. Their head is in Disney, whether it's let it go to Beauty and the Beast, so they came around one Saturday afternoon with their mum and dad, and I said, I need to watch this animation. I haven't seen it for a long time. And so we turned it on and we watched it, and by the end of it, I was like, there's so much of Gaston that I loved from the animation. And, you're bringing him to life, then why not honor a lot of what was drawn on the screen and bring it to life, And so I tried my hardest to bring a lot of that energy of him, that ridiculous character to life on screen. So, yeah, it was very much worked in hand.
And the film is very, very faithful to the original animation, right?
Very, yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And it's a beautiful story. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it's actually one of the oldest stories in history. The story of Beauty and the Beast goes back thousands of years. They've worked it out. There's like 3 or 4 stories, and this is one of them. It's been around an awfully long time, and there's a reason for that. There's a lot of messages throughout the story of Beauty and the Beast, which are incredibly powerful, very topical. Can relate to a child as much to an adult, and things what not to do and things that you should do and things that you should question. And that's why it's around, and that's why it's that's why it captured so many people's imaginations when I was a kid. I remember it so well, and it's back, and it's, we've broken 3 records just with trailers. The trailers that's how many people are excited to see it. So it has something that is timeless.
Next question.
Hello.
So I'm glad you mentioned trailers, because I think a lot of us who have seen the trailer kind of made the realization that if you watch this current trailer, the original trailer, with the animated trailer, it's side by side the same. So do you know, I don't know if you're the right person to ask, but do you know if they did that on purpose, like from the beginning, or was that something they kind of chose to do, like kind of later on?
I don't know the answer. I'd like to think that they always had that. I think they had that in their heads, because like I said, it's such a brilliant. It broke a lot of boundaries when that movie came out. It was nominated for Oscars. The music was so enchanting that they wanted to honor it in a very loving and respectful way. But also knowing that a lot of the fan base that want to see Beauty and the Beast, the live action film, are in love with the animation from all that time ago. So I think it's just a nice homage to the trailers to actually bring it to life. And I mean, it even made my skin tingle when I watched it, just to see even the timing. By the second it turns to the next scene, which is exactly the same, and we've just brought it to life in real life. And I mean, the opening number to Beauty and the Beast, I mean, I can't talk about it too much, but it's just gonna blow your mind. You feel like you're in the village square. It's the fountain and the flowers and the chaos and the baker and it's epic.
You've been a part of some big films. I mean, films with like big budgets, the Fast Furious movies, the Hobbit films. Was the set on this, did it dwarf even those? Did it just blow your mind?
It did. No, I mean, they're all of a certain size, and every film of a certain budget can go to places, and imaginations run riot, and they create magical things. I think they were questioning whether to shoot the village in a real French village for quite a long time, and then they thought, let's just build one. Let's just build a whole village in the backlot of Shepperton Studios. So we went there one day, and there's this huge field, expansive field, which is owned by the studios. And then 2 months later, we went back, and there's a village where there's cobblestones and fountains and archways, and it just went on and on and on. And they built it from nothing. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to experience, you know, Lake Town in The Hobbit, and that was the biggest set they'd ever built in the Southern Hemisphere. They reincarnated that set 5 times. So I'm used to seeing those things, but they never cease to amaze you when you walk on, and it's not fake. You tap it and it's real stone. You open a door and there's steps through to something else. It's all the imagination and the work and the craftsmanship and the people that design these sets are, you know, they're magicians. That's why they win Oscars.
I think we have time for one more question right here.
How you doing, Luke?
Hi.
Are you going to be a part of the monster universe with Dracula, or?
Oh, I don't know. You need to send that message to Universal, the heads of Universal, and ask them. I don't know. I mean, I get asked about Dracula more than any other film I've ever done. It's weird. You know, wherever I am in the world, I went to India before Christmas, and you know the thing about I went to see the Taj Mahal. There's amazing, one of the 7 wonders of the world, and you're supposed to go really early in the morning. And I went early. It was like 6 a.m. in the morning, and the sun was coming up. It was like not many people, and these 3 teenagers came up to me and they said, "Are you Dracula?" And I'm like, you know, it's interesting. So you know, it touched a lot of people, and I really enjoyed making the film. So we don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. It would be nice to think that he would be part of it. It's a big universe, and I think it's going to take a long time to reel out. But who knows? I'm busy right now anyway. I got a big eyebrow-raising character to promote, so you know.
Well, speaking of that,
he lost his teeth, by the way. You know that? I don't have fangs in the film.
Oh yeah.
Because I have my own fangs. These really long canines, and we had to get rid of them because every time I opened my mouth to sing, all you saw were these huge fangs, and so they gave me a Hollywood smile, set of fake teeth. Yeah.
So you have like caps
my
or whatever.
My whole mouth is fake teeth. Yeah.
Was that weird?
That's an exclusive. Yeah.
Was that weird?
Super weird. Like, I was talking differently. I used to have to take them home and wear them out just to get used to the idea of having this perfect Hollywood smile.
And just probably to be able to sing with them as well.
No, I took them out for that. Yeah, only when they did close-ups, I had to put them in, you know, for the big mouth opening, big numbers. But most of the time, it was the fake teeth. But when I sang, yeah, we recorded the stuff prior to that, so it wasn't too bad.
Well, look, it's been wonderful talking to you. Beauty and the Beast comes out March 17th. I look forward to seeing it. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks to be here. Thank you.
Luke Evans, everybody.